Welcome to Day One's Mindful Self-Compassion Challenge for May 2019. So my name is Fran Woodruff. I'm the founder of the Foundation to Come Home and Lush Us Retreats. And as I'm giving you this instruction, my gorgeous dog Bella is actually licking me. So slightly distracting, I must say. But anyway, I'll give her a pat and she'll stop doing that. So welcome to the Mindful Self-Compassion Challenge. The genesis of this work has been really my own work in realising that it wasn't through hardness and through judgment and through self-criticism that I would feel free. It was actually about learning to be kind to myself and to learn to have more respect for myself and my experiences, my sensations, my feelings, my thoughts, rather than somehow trying to remove them or change them too much or get rid of them. I started Vipassana meditation 25 years ago, and that was a very interesting journey for me, a journey into really being with things as they are. And I did have a very predominant way of being quite hard on myself. So my first few years of meditation they were pretty tough really, and I was pretty tough on myself. Over the years I've found out that actually that doesn't get me anywhere and it doesn't help me at all, and this idea somehow that we are broken or we're some project to be fixed or changed is a really unhelpful way of seeing ourselves in life. I found the Centre for Mindful Self-Compassion through a therapist that I was seeing many, many years ago, and attended a few of her Mindful Self-Compassion courses, and it was so wonderful. It really consolidated some thinking that I'd been having around this whole idea of really self-acceptance and self-kindness. And, you know, there are things about myself which I find almost impossible to accept. However, I really understand that they are a part of who I am. They don't necessarily have to be changed or even have much dialogue, really. They're things that are unique to me, and you'll find this along the way as well, that there's really nothing to change. There's no one else to be. There's nowhere else to be. Just here, living our lives, doing the very best we can, which is exactly what we're all doing. So this 5-day challenge is a bit of an introduction to mindful self-compassion. I'll be sending you different videos. I will put you onto websites. I'll give you information. We'll be doing some practices. Each day there'll be some kind of mindful meditation for you to practice. So today's mindful meditation practice will be sent to you in a separate post. It's just the nature of Facebook, sadly. But I really encourage you to do these practices, to watch the video content, to really engage with the course, because of course you're going to get out of it what you put in. And if you really do put in, you'll get a lot out of 5 days. It doesn't sound very much, but actually it can really help. And I've run this challenge now, I think 2 other times, and the feedback that I've received has been quite incredible, and people have really got a lot out of it. So welcome. Thank you for signing up, and thank you for doing this for yourself, really. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for yourself, because you do deserve this. You know, you deserve to have an easier life. You deserve to have thoughts that are kinder. I read in The Buddha's Brain by Rick Hanson that negative thoughts are like Velcro and they stick, and positive thoughts are like Teflon and they slide off. And it's something about the way our brain is wired from our biology. Our reptilian brain is always looking out for potential dangers or fears. So this is really about rewiring your brain, and these practices are about beginning the journey of rewiring your brain using mindfulness as the basis for your exploration. And mindfulness basically means to be full of what is arriving in the mind. So often, I think we have about 60,000 thoughts a day, which is, mind-blowing, really. And they come really unbidden, those thoughts. We don't ask, we don't wake up and ask to have a thought about how crappy we feel or that we're not good people, or these thoughts come unbidden, and they come from our biology, they come from our psychology, they come from around us, from marketing, media, etc., etc. So we're bombarded both internally and externally with information about how we could improve or how we should be different or whatever. So this is really about slowing things down so that we can see what is arriving in our minds. Often these negative voices, these inner self-critics, they're kind of like hidden, and they are still really having a lot of control over us, even though we may not even be aware of them. So this 5 days is really an opportunity to just be aware of the sorts of things that you say to yourself, like the sort of things like, gosh, I'm dumb, or, oh gosh, I made a mistake, oh gosh, there's something wrong with me, or all the very subtle ways in which we're actually really, really quite cruel to ourselves. But we don't realise that we're doing it. So you may find over the next 5 days that you see that you do have quite a critical mind, and that you are actually quite nasty to yourself sometimes. And so this is not about beating yourself up because you beat yourself up. That wouldn't work either. So it's just about learning to notice and trying to interrupt those dialogues as often as possible. The minute now, I find if I say something nasty to myself or detrimental about myself, or I put myself down in any way, there's a real discomfort that instantly arises, and I just don't feel good. And more I'm noticing, even when those first thoughts start to arise, and I catch them and I replace them with something more positive, like, we're so hard on ourselves if we make a mistake, or we feel like, we've let somebody down, or all sorts of things. We're hard about the way we parent, often if we're parents. So this is really about really getting to know those parts of ourselves that aren't being so kind, and learning to replace them with much deeper acts of kindness for ourselves. And look, sometimes the act of kindness, we say, oh, what do I need right now, or what's the kindest thing I could do for myself right now? And it might be to eat the ice cream, or to eat the packet of chips, or, we have to be kind to ourselves and not beat ourselves up. And if we've got body image stuff, which many women do, we can go on such a trip about all sorts of stupid things, how grey our hairs are, or how lined we're becoming, or how saggy our boobs are, or whatever. We just do this, and we do it so unconsciously, and it becomes a habit. So we're looking for those habits, and we're learning to replace one habit of being hard and cruel to ourselves with a kinder habit. We want to be kind, and we want to replace as much of that negative self-talk with something much softer and kinder. And it's not necessarily about, saying something positive. I mean, sometimes we just can't find something positive to say, and maybe we just need to be kind to ourselves about that. So, compassion is often seen as something that is turned outwards. So we're meant to have compassion for other people and for the situation or the plight of other people. But rarely do we turn the light of compassion towards ourselves. And the Buddha did say, that to have, we need to fill our own cup first. So we need to have a cup that's overflowing before we can give that to the other. And I think that these practices and this whole concept of mindful self-compassion is really a way towards filling your own cup. So let's fill our cups with kindness, maybe some wine now and then, if that's your poison. And even if it is, then, again, it's just noticing whatever. It's what you're doing right now, and you might choose something different if that's an issue for you, or you might choose to drink that glass of wine with great joy. So, thank you for joining me on this journey. I really look forward to it. Please share with each other. Please post your experiences. It just makes the whole course much richer, and it also gives me a sense of how I can change or alter any of the content to really work with what's arising for you. So your information, your insights really help build the course. I actually post every day, and I don't, I do this fresh every time. So fresh mind and fresh activities. So yeah, I'm just so happy you've joined me. I'm very, very blessed. And let's have a wonderful challenge. Okay. And today's activity is to watch the video from Kristen Neff, who is from the Centre for Mindful Self-Compassion, and to listen to the mindfulness meditation. It probably will take you about 25 minutes to do both of those things. And then, I always think that when you're doing something like this, it's really wonderful to have a journal. So even if you just write some ideas, or you write some insights about what happened whilst you were meditating or whilst you were watching the video, anything really, and you may wish to share some of that or none of it. So it's really up to you. This is your challenge. It's your opportunity for yourself. So I really encourage you to take this time. And as I said, you'll get out what you put in. Life's just like that. Okay, lovely. Thank you.